Good evening and welcome to Long Barrenham News. Some of you eagle-eye viewers out there may have realised that the studio looks a little bit different today, and that's because of everything going on in the world. We haven't actually been able to make it to the studio. But I've been given the lovely task of presenting the news to you lovely viewers straight from my home. And the setup may not be completely ideal, but I promise you it will be just as professional and just as informative as it always is. So that being said, here's a look at tonight's top headlines. Ducks are on the rise in Baker Street. Some old lady that lives down there reckons she saw at least 6, but it could be 3 and her eyes are knackered. So what do these ducks look like?
Fucking big, fucking yellow, fucking feathers everywhere!
The Mayor of Long Barrenham wants to shorten the hours of the day down to 22, so he can get through lockdown quicker. Please, I'm begging you gotta vote for me. I promised the Russian mafia I could use this job to import tiger bread into the country. Look what this kid can do with his finger. Jesus fucking Christ, man! Who's doing that? We may be in lockdown, but we have got a special interview at the end of the show with a government official that has to face the virus head on every day. But first, let's take a look at the weather. I know it's normally at the end of the show, but we're all in lockdown, we can't leave the house, so fuck it don't matter, does it? Weather still matters, mate? No, it doesn't. Ugh. Anyway, it was a cold start to the day for the people of... No one gives a shit. No one was out in it. You weren't out in that tie because it's stupid. What does that even mean? It means I just want to go on and do my job. The weather is important because people put out their washing and sometimes it rains and their clothes will get wet. And that'll be your fault. Alright, fuck it, I'll just get on with it. So, I'll continue. It was a cold start to the day for the people of Winton Close, but the temperature should get to a nice 10 degrees by midday. The people of Chegwin Drive and Barrymore Avenue will not be so lucky. The thick cloud there will stop the temperature from getting anywhere near 5 degrees. There'll also be some gale force winds coming down Silla's cul-de-sac and across Baker Street, and as we all know, it will be pissing down with rain over old Miss Swithin's house. That will continue for the next 4 years and 37 days to stop the old bitch from cheating at the duck race again. So we move on to the next display here. As you can see, we have Underwood and Littlewood Woods, we have Benton Phillip Way, and also O'Brien Road, all to contain dog shit. O'Brien Road is apparently quite a bad one, so there's some diversion signs put in place. The old man he found it said, and I quote, "is particularly bad" when he awoke from his coma. That's all from me. Back to you in the studio. Crime! Does it really pay? We asked the boffins at the studio to crunch your numbers, and they said yes. It does. There has been a new quarantine challenge amongst the teenagers, and they're calling it Squat and Come. Apparently what they do is, they'll break into someone's house, the older the resident the better, then they call the police on themselves. The police then arrive and proclaim the teenagers can't actually leave under lockdown rules. The old fogey is then forced to look after them. Janet on Crown Street now has 30 teenagers trapped in her house. She's been told if she doesn't feed them at least one hot summer meal a night, she'll get done for neglect. Even during lockdown, crime was on the rise. Our street used to have a neighbourhood watch. That is until Mr. Andrews dropped it in the toilet. Now no one knows what the fuck the time is. Since then, robins have been on the rise. The other night, they actually teamed up and flew away with someone's sofa. Would you have any sort of defence if these absolute twats came into your house and come all over your furniture? That's all from me. Back to you in the studio for some sport. Thanks. Love you. Sport this week. This week's match was between the Backstreet Belts, Boots and Co's Barbaric Voters, or the BBBA CBBs, and the Purrs, the primary rough, rugged, raw, rampant, riddled, ranked rip school. In the early game, the BBBA CBBs were dominating possession on the field, but that did leave them completely open poolside, allowing the Purrs to basically swim the ball in the back of the net. With no more goals, BBBA CBBs start getting desperate towards half-time, and Berkeley goes in with a reckless challenge towards Underhill. The judge calls it a foul, meaning Berkeley has to play the rest of the game looking directly at the sun, and if he commits another foul, will be permanently blinded. Underhill is awarded a free kick. he chooses to kick Berkeley directly in the dick, which is allowed, just very unsportsmanlike. Purrs have one more push before half time, with it all coming down to the last man in defence, Berkeley, and he completely fumbles, allowing Purrs to score. As the ball goes into the back of the net, you can hear Berkeley shouting, "Ow my fucking eyes, I think I'm going blind, I might never see my kids again." So the score going to half time is 17.5 to -7 recurring to Purrs. As the teams come back from half time, one of the Purrs players carries a plate of spaghetti out onto the pitch, which he does manage to eat in the allotted 3 minutes, awarding his team 5 points, and their goalkeeper gets a pair of giant gloves. Berkeley, who has spent most of the match running around in circles, finally manages to get a kick and hits top bins. This annoyed the Bimmen, they spent ages on that tower. The BBVA-CBB striker, Kenneth, missed an absolute sitter, and then his frustration took the Lord's name in vain, meaning he had to use the mandatory priest stop, where he had to say 50 Hail Marys while a priest washed his mouth out with soap. And finally, when a streaker enters the pitch, a small boy that spent most of the match motionless, just reacting to things, manages to catch him. This, of course, gets BBVA-CBB's 150 points, winning them the game and making everything else in the game redundant, including those 2 people that fell 50 foot in the air and died. Well, that's all the sport from this week, so I'll hand it back over to the other guy you saw earlier with some sort of secret interview. Goodbye from me, and keep watching the ball. You might be able to tell, my guest hasn't showed yet. Just like all government workers, they try and avoid all the hard-hitting questions and stay out of the media. They don't want people seeing their real faces, the worms they actually are. Wait, do you think it's unfair that homeless people don't have to obey the normal lockdown rules?
Fuck off, you weirdo.
Just as I suspected, trying to get out of it again, literally running away. Luckily, we do have a backup guest who isn't afraid to give their opinion. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with them. So, to make up for lost time, let's just get right to it, shall we? Is God real? Well, I see it. My dad got me this wee cycle for Christmas. You said the weather's not important. You were doing fake interviews. What's he on, man? What are you talking about? Fake interview? So anyway, I'm bombing down the road on this fucking cycle, and out of nowhere, this tortoise comes crawling out of the drain. Before I got time to react, it fucking jumps at me, it lands on my fucking face, right? I fall off my bug, and I cut me out in 16 different places. It's just you in a different costume, mate. You don't have an interview, do you? Wouldn't that also make you me in a costume? Just you in a different costume. Before the ambulance comes out, I fucking shit myself, right? Literally shit myself in the street in front of everyone. They're all pointing and laughing. This turtle's clung to me fucking face. I'm scared they're going to have to amputate my arm. You idiot! Thanks, Drew. We're just him when he needs us to be. That's why I keep having these rolling blackouts and only seem to be conscious when this fucking weird news show's on. Is that what my accent makes it sound like I come from every single country but none of them at the same time? Is any of this even real? Is spaghetti real? Is this fucking map even real? I mean, the map wasn't supposed to fool you. It's definitely not real. But everything else is real. Are my wife and kids even real? Of course they are, mate. It's just lockdown. It's going to your head. Then why is there no bad memories of them? Of course there's bad memories, mate. Well, by the time that Roland shat all over your Westlife CDs. I don't even like Westlife. You're the one who likes Westlife. They're your family, aren't they? You just put the good memories in my head to give me a reason to carry on. They could be my family, though. I just have to become you. Which means I have to kill you. Fucking hell. Cut to that kid with a weird finger. Jesus fucking Christ, man. What are you doing that? What's going on in there? Don't ask. Fine. Come on, man. Put the blender down. It ain't gonna fit. It will not make you stronger than a god. It will just taste like shit. I will not fucking try some. Aye, you're alright. There is a hint of strawberries. Fuck, get some off. You guys are weird.